Well, hello everybody. I am Miles Newell, your student body vice president. Today we have Elijah Larica and we have Jessalyn Gallegos. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, for sure. My name is Elijah Larica. I am running for your guys' Associate Student Government President. I am a junior majoring in history. I have been in student government for 3 years, serving as the CMU Tech Senator for over 3 years. This past year, I've also served as the Senate Leader. On campus as well, I'm a resident assistant in Garfield Hall. I have been doing that for 2 years, going into my third soon. I am the manager of Arcadia right now, and I'm also the vice president of our Mesa Catholic here on campus.
Awesome. Jessalyn?
I'm Jessalyn Gallegos. I'm a junior. I'm on the softball team here. I'm vice president of National Society of Leadership and Success on campus. I am also a part of ASG. I'm in the House representing students' mental health and student safety. I've been in the House for 2 years now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. So today we're just going to be asking you guys a few questions just to get to know you guys and what your guys' plans are for ASG next year and as you guys come into these positions. You guys will each get 1.5 to 2 minutes for each question. So feel free to take your time, answer them thoroughly, and we'll get started.
Awesome.
So question 1 is, what is the most important issue you see currently on campus that you want to address if elected? Elijah, we'll start with you.
The most important issue that I see right now is that a lot of decisions on campus are being made without the student's voice, without the students knowing until one of the administration sends out an email regarding stuff. So something that I want to do, something I see that needs to be done, is that allowing students to know they have a voice, and when issues are present, when the president administration goes to meetings, let the students know what's going on, be transparent, let them know that student government is here for them and their voice, and also tell them, hey, in the higher levels of administration, this is what we're talking about. And we'll tell the students through social media, through newsletters, anything that we can do to outreach them.
Awesome. Jessalyn,
Yeah, I think same answer to build off of that. I think Elijah and I talk about this a lot, bridging the gap between all campuses and students that don't really understand what's going on with associate student government and don't understand that how much student body does, and with the issues that go out and the bills that were passed, that students don't necessarily know about it. So I think a big goal of ours is to make sure that we find a way to address these issues beforehand, and so that students know that, for instance, in the House meetings and the Senate meetings, that we welcome the community to come and sit in, and to make sure that they have the chance to use their voice to come and tell us their own issues and everything like that. So I really think that's an issue.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what ways would you guys plan on bridging that gap between both the student body and ASG for people who don't know maybe what ASG is about and what they do on campus?
So things that I've thought about is outreach events, create more events that Associate Student Government is involved in and put our name more out there. Right now, our Instagram page doesn't have as much followers relative to the student population. Let's increase those following counts for those who have social media. Earlier this school year, we did the field day, and I think that brought in a lot of people. And also letting clubs know that, hey, we're a resource for you guys. You guys are more than welcome to step into our meetings. Letting these, especially political science, criminal justice, all these very clubs that are really involved in politics, that know a lot about policy, get them involved as well, because they know so much. And it's great for us to just pick out of their brain as well, to see that what we're doing wrong and what we should be doing, and how we can better help them as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think also on top of that, outreaching to CMU Tech and Montrose campus, I think, easier said than done, but we really try to plan to go to those campuses, let them know that their student fees are here too, and that they're not just funding this campus, then going to CMU Tech and Montrose. So I think knowing that those students there also have a voice and are as important as the students on this main campus. So yeah, outreaching to them too, because they're a very big part of our student fees and everything like that.
That's awesome. All right, next question for you guys is, what experiences have prepared you to electively fulfill the role of an ASG president and vice president? Jessalyn, we'll start with you first.
Yeah, so I joined ASG 2 years ago as the rep for mental health and student safety, and one of my initiatives, I think, very strong and I'm very passionate about was strong minds, strong mouths, and it's to make sure that all school knows about the resources that we have for mental health and all of that. And so I think building that and communicating with associate student government with that and making sure that that goes to plan is a big key to like who I am and my leadership and all of that. I'm also vice president of National Society of Leadership and Success, which we like run communications, all of community service stuff like that. So I think it's really important to have strong leadership and also communication and making sure that we're talking with students and they understand that we are on the same level and we can talk to each other and all of that. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, again, like I said before, I served 3 years in the student government, this year serving as the Senate leader. These past 3 years, I've always tried to do an initiative of some sort every year. My first year was the Mad Rides to CMU-TV that I brought up to Jody Dyers. Right now, probably in front of Bunting Hall, we have a van of Mad Rides giving students to ride to CMU-TV, which is a huge deal. Volleyball nets for the sand volleyball courts, those were absolutely garbage. So we eventually got some new ones too, and I'm trying right now this year, I'm trying to get a campus safety walk for CMU-TV because I know a lot of those classes are late at night. So especially let's make sure those students are safe as well. So I've had experience and I know the process of getting things done, talking to administration, getting initiatives done that students believe are important. I'm also part of Res Life. I've have connections there as well, in which they know me a lot because I've talked to them about the issues that my residents and the residents around campus, especially the freshmen, are dealing with, especially with the housing crisis that we're sort of having right now. But also in my leadership roles on my other clubs as well, where the club that I'm part of right now, we do a lot of community outreach. So I know a lot of different communities around Grand Junction that help us. So I'm used to just outreaching to the bigger, larger part of Grand Junction.
Awesome. Great answers, guys. Next question is, do you see the role of ASG expanding in any way during your term, and if so, how do you plan on doing so? Elijah, we'll start with you.
Yeah. I've actually had a meeting quite recently with different clubs and different organizations in student life, and something that we really talked about was how can ASG play a bigger role? Because all these organizations, and part and some funding from clubs, are student fee funded, which is something that we deal with. We should be playing a bigger role. So I talked about tailgates that we have. Let's play a bigger role in that. Events that other student life organizations put on, let's ask them, how can we help you guys out more so that you guys aren't just doing so many things independently? Yes, they have different help on campus with the directors of student life and marketing and all these people, but how can we help you guys, especially that we play such a big role, especially with in the greater, larger part of CMU?
Yeah, I think that also goes along with what we were saying about outreach and stuff with the other campuses, making sure that they know that we're here and that we're here to talk whenever and to make sure that they know that we're a resource for them and just come to us whenever they have questions, meeting with different clubs and asking them about their opinions and what we can do to make sure that this student body can be more successful in any way. A lot of them were saying that they don't really know like who ASG is and like what ASG does. So making sure that all these clubs who we do fund know where the funding is coming from, knowing that like we're using the money in the right way, and just making sure that again like their voice is heard. And yeah.
Cool. As you guys know, the biennial process is coming up next year.
Yep.
So how do you guys, I guess, effectively approach the biennial budgeting process to ensure that student fees are allocated fairly and effectively? Jessalyn, we'll start with you.
Yeah, so again, talking to different clubs and getting their input on all of this, we wanted to make a big point that we want to really sit down over summer, study all of the funding, look over all what the clubs and organizations are getting, and really understand like why they're getting this much, what are they doing for the whole entire student body, making sure that this organization is getting funded because they're actually helping the whole school or because they're helping one sort of organization. So just making sure that the money that they're getting is what they need and that they're funding for all students and not just one population, and the students in the art department isn't getting funded by a random frat, right? Like
Yeah.
just certain things, making sure that the money goes in the right way. But I think for sure us communicating with each other, with the Senate, with the House, and making sure that everyone's on the same page with where the money is going and what our goals are for student fees and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Elijah?
Yeah, just gonna build onto that. It's just something that I've talked about with Jess, is that really training and telling the people who are elected that this is such a big process. Jess and I have talked about if we get appointed to these positions, we're going to ensure that we have trainings for the House Representatives and the Senate leaders to ensure that they know what's going on through this biannual process. I'm also thinking about requiring senators, or at least senators, to go to at least one biannual meeting, so that when the House finally makes that a final approval of the biannual and it goes to the Senate, they're not just saying yes based off we have good faith in the House, but truly saying yes because they know what's going on. They know that the decisions that they made were good enough.
Awesome. For those who may not know at home, what is the biannual process?
Ooh. So
What?
okay. So the biennial process is a process that is just a huge opportunity for the students. So, of course, we pay student fees, and all those student fees are all combined together. 1.7 million was, I believe, 2 years ago, or 1 year ago, that we all passed. So the trustees give us the opportunity to look at these student fees and these student-funded organizations and decide where should the money go and why. So let's take, for example, a certain organization is asking for more money. The trustees trust the students and the representatives and the student government that we're going to make, when the organization comes to us, we're going to make the right decision in saying, okay, you know what, we agree. Maybe you guys do need a couple $1,000 extra to help you guys help better reach more students. Or maybe take, for example, PAC concerts. Maybe we should give you guys an extra money so you guys can get better artists coming to the school, better engaged with school. So it's a really important process, because whatever we decide to give to different organizations, that could be increasing student fees.
Yep.
And something that we want to highlight is that CMU has a lot of first-generation students, and that's really important. And we want to ensure that we keep these prices low, especially as we go into the biennial year. The biennial year is super important for student fees.
Awesome. Anything
Yeah.
else you would add on?
One thing to add, I feel like me and Elijah talk a lot about how important it is that we get the opportunity to do this. I think it's very cool that the school trusts us to look at these student fees and reallocate them to certain organizations, and making sure that they trust us enough to make sure that students get everything that they can with the money that they're giving us. And I think highlighting that we don't want to raise student fees and that we're going to do our best to keep them the same or even lower them, but we want to make sure that all organizations are being accounted for. We're really looking into everyone and making sure that we give each organization a true analysis, because we don't want to gyp anybody. We also don't want to give someone way too much that maybe they can give to a different organization. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, last question for you guys. We'll start with Jessalyn. How you support and strengthen communication with ASG within the student body?
Can you repeat that?
Yeah.
Sorry.
How you support and strengthen communication within ASG and the student body?
Why am I not understanding that question?
So
I'm
like
sorry.
basically, how do you plan on, I guess, bridging that gap between both ASG and student body?
I think for sure, again, I feel like we talk a lot about outreaching, but it genuinely does make a difference. I think as silly as sometimes it sounds to be like, oh, your student voice matters, I think as a first generation student, as a student athlete, I want to make sure that people have resources to come to. I know when I was a freshman, it feels a little lost sometimes, and when you're out there by yourself, you don't really know what's going on, but to make sure that there's people out there, the student body is vice president, student body president, know that we have the strength to communicate with these students and that we're there for them. Silly as that sounds sometimes, it really does make a difference in people's experience here at CMU. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think just adding on to that, continuing our outreach, again, like we talked about field day, putting up flyers in res halls especially. I also want to continue on right now, for our campaign, we're talking to different clubs and teams, athlete teams, and I don't think we should stop doing that if we get elected. With the new people coming in, new people going out, people are gonna, with a new upcoming bigger freshman class, we want to ensure that they know what's going on as well. So next year we're going to continue talking to clubs and organizations and teams, telling us, okay, yeah, maybe you guys don't need to vote for us anymore or whatever it may be, but we're still here for you guys, and we have positions open. If you guys are interested, you guys are more than welcome to come to our meetings. Follow us on Instagram. We're going to post coming in our next year. For our press secretary, we're going to ensure that they do a lot more, especially with posting and outreach. Our director of external affairs, we're going to ensure that we do more events at CMU Tech and Montrose, ensuring that they're connected with all the things here going on our main campus.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys, and best of luck to you guys as you guys continue your guys campaigning this next week.
Awesome.
Thank you for
Thank you so
having
much.
us.
Thank you.